Just talk about your team's victory last week, 51-3.
Yeah.
You've got to be happy with the way the offense almost set a school record in rushing, and then again the great performance by the defense with a couple of good goal line stops. And just what are your big takeaways from last week's game?
My takeaway is that the O-line is beginning to really find themselves, to be able to roll out 441 yards rushing, which I thought, Whittier, for their first game, came out with all the emotion that you want to have for your opening game. I thought they played well. I thought they had a good plan. But to see us be able to adapt and be able to find the counter punches that we need to know our own self, by knowing yourself well, we did that. So with Coach Carlton and his staff doing an outstanding job of just being able to communicate well on the sidelines and from the press box, discovering what the adjustments need to be, I thought that was a real key moment for us. Say, okay, we're starting to find ourselves. We're really finding our, from everything, the sideline communication to the O-line communication to the fact that you got your athletes doing a good job in space.
Spencer Danielson had 12 tackles, 11 of them in the first half, but then you had the interception by Jake Mattel and the right at the goal line, the stop at the very end of the game. Just how encouraged are you by your defense that seems like every game has a different person step up? The game before it was Silas with 10 tackles. Just talk about that defense and just how nice it is to have a different player step up each
well, you're touching on, by saying different names every week, you're touching on the success factor that we want to have. This isn't something where we try to play defense to showcase one guy. We believe in the 11-to-1 ratio. It takes 11 guys to make this thing work. Usually the efficient plays come down to one person not doing their job. So when you're saying the names like Jake Mattel, Spencer Danielson, last week you're talking about Sean Barber, it's great to add them to the group, to the Corey Johnsons and the Jake Jones. So by doing that, the coaches are getting their players up to speed. The players are finding out their angle and their piece in the defense where they need to be efficient, or they need to be effective. And so by Jake Mattel understanding where he needed to be in that play was outstanding. And then to see Spencer begin to really fit the defense up well. And as every offense tries to put their spin on where they want to attack us, I think you're going to keep hearing different names that begin to stand out. So a lot of that is just the growth of younger players stepping up, making plays. Other part is it that, it depends on what the offense is trying to do that week.
And then go back to that last play, no time left on the clock penalty in the end zone. So you get, just kind of a free play to just offense versus defense from 2 yards out. Who's gonna win? And they tried running it, and your defense made a stop. I think it was your number 2 defense. Just talk about how encouraging that was, just in a situation like that they still step up and keep it.
It was really exciting. One of the big takeaways for me is to see young guys like that were in there. We had some second teamers, some third teamers in there, and we're constantly setting the bar high to say whoever's in there needs to hold the standard of this team, of this culture, of what we believe in, and particularly defensively, to see these young guys go out there to play this free play where emotionally the game's essentially over and you could easily walk away and say, okay, they scored in the last seconds, no big deal. But it is a big deal to us. We take every snap here seriously, and so to see those young guys step up the way they did was exciting.
And then switching over to the offense, you've got the number 1 scoring offense in the NAI, number 2 rushing offense, and from our perspective, it really looks like it starts with Vandenrot and Murphy, probably the top rushing tandem in NAI, if not college football. And how tough is it for opponents to game plan to stop those 2 guys just in the
I think it's being an option-based offense that we are, is that the defense needs to be sound. They need to have a hat for a hat, and then you throw into there a guy like Matt Davis and Duho and Tanner Henry, creating tension on the perimeter with the wide receivers. That's what we want. That's the type of game plan that we have. And so as the plays are called, you have a capable runner and thrower in John Vandenrot, and then you have not only Murphy but Trifoletti. You have a Petty, you have a Douglas, and you have a Terrell Watson that all that can run it. But then it all comes back to our offensive line is playing great football. Our offensive line is beginning to work well as one, and I believe they're a force to be reckoned with. And so, we'll go as far as this O-line will take us. And it's not to take anything away from the special person that Vandy is, the special person that Murphy is. But you're seeing a group of 11 guys really hold their responsibility with great attention to detail, and a belief that hey, you can count on me.
And talk about the difference between preparing, going in the season opener, and now a team with experience. Talk about what differences are in practice and
Right.
game planning.
Well, practice for us is we're trying to play the game in practice, and how well we compete, the pace we compete at in practice. You're finding now is that the standard in practice begins to keep going up each week as our players begin to understand how to practice. A college football preparation week is relatively short, with the amount of hours and stuff that you do have, and the barriers you need to put in. But you're seeing the young guys that were maybe go through camp, kind of the doldrums of camp, and that young guys when go week one that sometimes played like young guys, new inexperienced guys, but yet guys we're counting on, they're starting to understand how to practice. They're understanding what the savvy things are in our system that they need to understand. So that's what I like seeing, is that the growth keeps happening. And now the way we talk about it is last week is just not good enough anymore. If you want to be a team that has a very favorable future, you need to be a team that's constantly growing. And so we're going to set the bar even higher this week.
Yeah, and you talked about that after the game too, just the culture of guys wanting to get better. Week-to-week improvements, what kinds of things would you like to see out of this group this week?
Well, for us, we're not gonna ever try to stray too far from just the fundamentals of football: blocking, tackling, throwing, catching, and so things like footwork, things like hand placements, all those things we're going to keep paying attention to this whole week. I'd like to always, see us continue to grow in our passing efficiency. I thought we did a very good job again with that. We're understanding how to take our shots, when to take our shots, what the defense are giving us secondary-wise. I also know that with Chapman, they're presenting a whole other type than we haven't seen the last few weeks, in that where they're a big, powerful team. I mean, they do a lot of 31 personnel, two big fullback type bodies in there. I mean, they have two guys that are 6 foot 230s. One of the bigger O lines we've seen this whole year, and they're going to be well coached, and they know how to do their power game, zone lead game, and so we're going to get ready for that.
The opponent this week is a little bit of a step up from Laverne and Whittier, and just talk about how you handle this week's preparation for Chapman.
Right. Well, first it starts with Bob Owens. Bob Owens is an outstanding head coach. He knows what he wants to do. They know their systems well. He runs a very tight ship. Looking at the roster and what they've been able to accomplish recruiting-wise, I think is outstanding. They have guys who fit their scheme. I think they're one of the bigger teams we've seen this whole year. They're a very capable football team, and so from Brett Vescalia, the quarterback, it's an efficient quarterback. I really love Anthony Ferraro as far as they're on defense, leading a pack of just guys who they look the part. They look the part. They run the part. They're physical the part. They beat a very good Whitworth team who's traditionally just a power, and they found a way to win it in the end. So you've got a team in Chapman, I think, that they believe they can win, and so going back to even last year, you could see the progression of who Chapman is, and so it's an outstanding football team, and we've got our hands full.
And then, Coach, you guys will be participating in the Coach to Cure MD program this weekend, and just talk about how excited you are to be participating in this for the second straight year.
Oh yeah, no, outstanding cause, outstanding opportunity for us. I mean, these are the things that when you could take the game of football, it's a crazy game at times, but it has the platform that is undeniable platform in our country to be able to bring attention to a worthy cause of Duchenne disease, and just to know that we have a good friend in Nicholas Anabi to be able to come in and spend time with our players. We're talking all the time about how our players, and any player in college football right now in the whole nation, they're going to be the leaders to come in the future. And so college football needs to make aware of a worthy cause like this, and how to tell people about what's happening, and then also giving an opportunity to give. And so for our men particularly, what I'm excited about is anytime there's a cause like this, to be able to jump on alongside and to show them, guys, what you're doing has a greater impact, but then also what you need to be aware of is when you're growing as a man, these are the opportunities that you need to be aware of, because if you get the privilege of leading, whether it's in a community, whether it's in a business, even the privilege of leading a family, your responsibility is going to lie to make it a better future for those people you're leading. And so in some small way, we're excited to be a part of this. I mean, and if it doesn't, if it's very fact just to be able to spend time with the quality people of the program, and it makes all the difference for us.
Yeah, and go ahead and just show us what you guys will be, what your coaches will be wearing on their sleeves this weekend.
This weekend we're going to be holding the Coach Secure MD patch on their sleeves, and I think throughout the nation, all the coaches are going to be wearing it. At the American Football Coaches Association, and our executive director Grant Taft, who's doing an outstanding job of leading us, is going to hopefully put in the minds of people, hey, this is a cause worthy of getting involved with.